good day. So, how are you doing? Me, myself, doing fine. Gonna get some water, because that does very, very well for this process. If you have some water, recommend you grab a sip now, and if you don't, now would be a good time to get some. It's good. So, taking some time now to do a first take on what we're going to be calling the Way of Wakeful Play. First lesson we go into is the power of yes and no. Many of you may have seen that very charming film called Yes Man. There's some very interesting elements to the film. The power of a covenant, an agreement you make with yourself, the power of yes. And we also saw that it was a bit of a foolish way to live one's life, just saying yes to everything. So what we're really talking about when we talk about yes and no is really just the way of your own natural intelligence. We're talking about what feels not just good, but what feels truly enlivening, what feels like when you do it, it makes you feel more like yourself. Now, that would be a yes. If there's an activity that you do, that you enjoy, that you rock at, that you rejoice in every time you do it, that you actually lose your thinking self to, that you get so engaged that you just give yourself fully to it. Now, that is something that you're going to be not just good at, but you'll be exceptional at. And that's what we're trying to investigate as to something that you can do again and again and again, something that you can count on, that type of excellence, that type of genius flowing through you. That we conveniently call yes. Anything that gets you that excited, anything that gets you feeling truly alive, we say brings you closer to yourself because that is your natural state. Your natural state is vibrant, passionate, alert, with a gracious anticipation for each and every moment. And when things get exciting enough, you lose yourself to the activity you're engaged in. Not in a mindless sort of way, just in that time seems to fly by, in that you get so completely engaged you become like a little child again. Now, what would it be like if we all lived that way every single day? Even better, what if your career was that exciting? What if you got to wake up every single day to something that got you so excited that you couldn't wait for your feet to hit the floor? You were that excited to start the day. There was a time in our lives when we did have that type of excitement. Problem was, the thing that we got to do at that time of life when we had that excitement was go to school. And school wasn't really all that fun. Well, maybe kindergarten was fun, but even when you hit first grade, that place looks like a 9 to 5 with paperwork you get to do afterwards. It was not really particularly fun. So, the time in our lives when we were most connected to that type of yes, where we would get so excited for the things that we loved, like a little kid, only a little kid can, our daily activity was something fairly tedious, boring, and downright unfun. That's not a really particularly great association to have for later on in life. When we do finally have the freedom to decide what it is we'll do with each and every day, we've already been conditioned to anticipate that work is hard, boring, and has nothing to do with our yes. As a matter of fact, we've been so conditioned that what I'm referring to as the way of life is considered a frivolous entertainment. Now that's that's terrible. That's really awful. So you have to understand, we've been trained to pursue basically stress-oriented activity as the only way you're going to make a living. And the things we really like doing, you have to pay for when you can somehow manage to find the time. And it's with that bad conditioning that most of us find ourselves in a very particular cycle of challenges. We know what we want to do. Our whole body sings when we do it, so we know exactly what it is. However, we have all these other things that we have to do, that we don't like doing, that if you really got honest, don't particularly produce any more results than our education did. It just matches our conditioning pattern so that we feel that we're doing the right thing, but not the yes thing. Therein lies the big difference. See, the right thing, and I'll use these quotation marks, they'll float around, the right thing. Who said it was the right thing? The thing that's familiar? The thing that everyone else is doing? How do we determine what is the right thing to do in any given day? Inevitably, if we ask ourselves, it's kind of what we're used to. Whatever our model of the world dictates is the right thing to do, that's what we do. We don't often question where we got that model of the world. We don't often question what it is that we could be doing. We instead just assume this is what we should be doing. And the assumption is that you need a job, or you need to be self-employed, or even actually I'll tell you that you need a business in order to make it from day to day. That the economy works a certain way and the world is a certain way and there's nothing certain but death and taxes. Although taxes is getting less and less certain as time goes on. Even death can be reframed depending on how you look at things. So suddenly, if we begin to examine what is the right thing to do, it may or may not be the thing that truly brings us the most fulfillment, the most success, the most aliveness. And yet, for a life that is truly fulfilling, and for a success that is truly sustainable, you'd better be doing something you really love. Otherwise, in the end, it becomes tedious and therefore stressful and, taken long enough, simply unsustainable. There's no way, there's simply no reward great enough to keep you enthusiastic about something that you find blatantly boring to do. There's no reward for a stress-based activity, no matter how much they pay you, or no matter how much you earn. Stress is stress, and it will shorten your life and the quality of your life drastically. Whereas, if you follow your yes, your passion, your unique course through life, the course that fills you with a positive anticipation, if you find the things in your life to do that fill you with so much aliveness and enthusiasm that it's almost doing itself, it is that immediately fulfilling, then imagine any rewards you get on top of that are gravy. They're extra. They just further sustain and support you continuing to do the activity. And trust me, if you're having that much fun, very likely the people around you will as well. That becomes more and more the basis of our quality of true fulfillment. Becomes based on how much we enjoy being around the people we're around and how much they enjoy being around us. Whether they're your clients or your family or your friends, your coworkers, whatever it is, when we're having an ecstatic time, we know it. We feel good about it. And we look forward to doing it again. Imagine if your clients, in whatever profession you're in, looked forward to seeing you again because they had that great a time. You could be a medical doctor, you could be a chiropractor, you can be a dentist. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you bring your passion and aliveness to, and people feel it and experience that as well, they want to come back. They want more. There's a reason why entertainment is still one of America's greatest exports. The world loves us crazy Americans. We're so funny. We're crazy. Because we really do have the entertainment thing down. We know how to entertain. We know how to create outrageous entertainment. The rest of the world's still catching on. They still have all sorts of little ideas about what you can and cannot do on television. But here in America, we're forever pushing the bounds on what is possible, what's accessible, what's even acceptable. In other words, in entertainment, we still question what is right. We question it. We question what's right. In the end, when people are entertained, we consider it a success. So it doesn't matter if there's swear words, it doesn't matter if there's nudity, it doesn't really matter. As long as people are entertained in the entertainment industry, we consider that a success. What do we consider success in terms of, say, education? What do we consider success in terms of, say, our job life? What do we consider success in terms of our relationships? In entertainment, it's easy. When people are entertained, yeah. When they come back for more, yeah, we did a good job. When people say yes, we feel great. What about the rest of our lives? What would your relationships look like if your partner was so ravenously ecstatic to see you every single time they saw you? Hmm, is that possible? Is it possible for every single avenue of our lives to be filled with such passion and enthusiasm that we no longer really worry about the rules per se or what is right as much as what feels incredible, what feels alive, what feels true, what gets us going? And what if we bring some virtue, some genuine, right on righteousness to that feeling of aliveness? What if there was a givingness, a kindness, a benevolence to our ecstatic engagements each day? Then you'll begin to get an idea of what we're talking about when we talk about yes. That's yes. Everything I've described so far is a way of getting at the yes. Yes feels good. Yes carries with it distinct virtues. Yes is contagious. When you are connected to your yes, you will feel an aliveness, and that aliveness will affect everyone around you. But it doesn't just stop there. Yes is just the beginning. Because with the yes, we must also learn the power of no. No is a beautiful word. Many of us discovered it around age 2, and it became quite the equalizer. You see, in this way, a 2-year-old can actually be more powerful than many heads of state. See, a head of state, eventually you can coerce into taking a different position. A 2-year-old, I'm sorry. Once that kid has made up their mind, no means no, and there ain't nothing you're going to do to change it. The beauty of a 2-year-old's no is that it's rooted to the power of their yes. In other words, a 2-year-old doesn't say no unless it's something that they want and they're not getting. Unless it's something that they're getting that they don't want. Whatever it is, the power of their no is tied to just how deeply they are connected to their yes. And little children in particular are powerfully connected to their yes. It's neurologically wired into all of us. Yes is really just that which is truly life promoting. And no is just that which is, let's just say, non-life promoting. 2-year-old doesn't have any reason to do anything that is not life promoting. There's just no reason for it. There's actually no reason for it when we're 30, 80, 220. There's never a reason for us to do something that is non-life promoting. As a matter of fact, what on earth could possibly convince you to do something that you did not want to do? It's a free country, right? Free world. I mean, as long as you're doing something that's basically virtuous and it's not against the law, why wouldn't you be doing that? As a matter of fact, why isn't our natural passions and geniuses encouraged? And you'll notice, for the large part, they are not.